So, welcome to those of you who've joined the Zoom conversation and also the Facebook Live stream. On behalf of the Department of Communication at the University of Hyderabad, I'd like to welcome you to this session that we're calling Course Ki Charcha. It's a webinar where we will walk you through the admissions process and introduce you to the school and to the department and tell you a little bit about the MA programs that we will be offering in the coming year. So just to give you a little bit of background, the department was established in 1988, the academic year 1988-89, and with an MA program. It was established in response to the demand for television professionals primarily, because the private television industry had just begun to take off. Doordarshan was already operating and was in need of trained professionals. And so the department was established with a view to offering courses for young people who would want to join the television industry, but also with the objective of creating professionals who had a good background in social sciences and had an understanding of society, basically reflective practitioners who could join the industry. We started the PhD program in 1996, and since then have been running both the MA and the PhD programs. So between 1988 and 2000, actually, we operated from a smaller premises in the city of Hyderabad. In 2000, we moved to the campus, which is in Gachibowli on the outskirts of Hyderabad. And in 2010, we moved to a new building, which is what you see on the screen. And the MA program was substantially revamped. We took into the changes in the industry, the demands of industry, and also the responses from students who were coming from multiple kinds of backgrounds. So the single MA program was converted into 3 streams. So it was still called MA in Communication, but we started offering 3 streams within the MA. The 3 streams were print and new media, television and radio production, or radio and video production as we called it. And the third was communication and media studies. So all students who entered the MA program would do 1 year of common core courses. And in the second year, they would specialize in one of the 3 streams that I just mentioned. And we found that that has been working quite well over the past, decade. But again, we decided last year that we needed to rethink our program. And what I'm going to describe in the next slide is basically how we are rethinking our program and the new MA that will be offered beginning the coming year. In 2020, we realized that there's been a lot of change in the media industry. There's been a convergence in terms of media. So people don't only do video or only audio. They're doing text, video, and audio. Technologies are converging. And clearly this means that the kind of professionals that the industry requires are also, the need is also changing. So we decided to completely revamp the structure of the master's program. And instead of offering a single MA with 3 different streams, from the coming year, we will be offering 2 distinct MA programs. Each will have their own entrance exam and admission processes. The basic philosophy remains the same. We do want to create thinking professionals, whether they are going to be people who join the industry or people who end up working for the social sector or corporate communications and so on. So with this thinking, we decided to do the 2 MA programs. The first one is called Media Practice, and the second one is called Media and Communication Studies. And I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Anjali Lal Gupta, to talk about the Media Practice stream. Anjali?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Raman. Could I have the next slide, please?
Yeah. I've put the next slide on.
So media practice is a stream where you focus on convergence journalism in a big way. Convergent journalism, media practice, and technology focus, resulting in the ability to tell engaging stories for a variety of purposes and a range of content. Now, media practitioners are not expected to work in silos. They are expected to be very familiar and well versed with different kinds of technologies and to be able to work with different kinds of media. For that purpose, media practice would be focusing on a convergent kind of environment. Next slide. Yeah, so the stream, if you're interested in media practice and if you offer media practice, these are the skills that you would get to learn. Writing across media. Now, writing across media would mean text, electronic, web, multimedia. So writing across media, it would be a pan media kind of skill that you would learn. Audio visual media production. Mobile journalism. Now, the distinction between the producer of news and the consumer of news is sort of blurring, and mobile plays a big role in that. So, as a journalist, you'd be expected, especially in near future, you'd be expected to sort of file stories quickly, and our cell phones help us to do that quite a lot. But you do need some kind of training to be able to do a good job of it. So mobile journalism will help you in that. You'd be able to create content for multiple platforms using text, images, audio, and video. And you'd be able to function in various media roles: content creation, management, and distribution. Gone are the days when you would just be reporting and doing nothing. There would be an expectation where you would know the different aspects of the production and dissemination of news. What else would you be learning? Strong foundation in media and communication theory. So like Dr. Raman just mentioned, that you need to be thinking practitioners. It's not just skills that we equip you with, but also to be able to strategize and to be able to think what kind of content makes sense, what kind of content is ethical, what kind of content will have an enduring value. So strong foundation in media and communication theories help you do that. And then you'd be able to function effectively in a convergent media ecosystem. It would not scare you to be in a team that handles all kinds. Yes, Doctor.
Next slide, yeah.
So there are a range of courses if you take up media practice. The core courses, which everybody will have to do, whether they are in media practice or media studies. There are some 5 core courses, and this happens in the first semester. Only one course, which is core course, is mandatory in the second semester. So Introduction to Communication in Media, that is a core course. Everybody in media practice or media studies would have to take it. Writing across media is a core course. Introduction to AV production, Introduction to Digital and Interactive Media, Media Laws and Ethics, an important course for anyone who would like to take up profession in media laws and ethics, so that later you do not say that you were not aware of a certain norm. So this is very important. And also a university-wide course, which is the foundation course that is available to students from different streams and disciplines, not just to communication, but across streams and disciplines. So these are core courses which are mandatory. Then there are courses which you get to choose from a basket. In some of these courses would be sort of necessary for you to be able to get the media practice degree, and some are elective courses here. So these courses are spread over the second, third, and fourth semester. So what are these courses? These are advanced audiovisual production. So for that, obviously, you need the knowledge that you got in the first semester with the help of the course Introduction to AV Production. Now, this is a direct consequence of that course, and it is advanced AV production. Then digital media platforms. That's extremely important so that you're aware that different digital media platforms is there and your ability to handle them. Then there is feature and analytical writing. This is basically non-fiction, long-form writing that is extremely popular even on the internet. So whether you see The Guardian, you see The Caravan, you see, the New York Times or New Yorker, long-form writing is actually very fulfilling and has a wide readership. And it has to also come on different kinds of platforms. Then there is approaches to editing, a very important skill and value to add to your skills. AV news production, audiovisual news production, advanced video editing, entertainment genres in which you'd be able to make music videos and you'd be able to make short fiction films, also quiz shows. So because, there are different kinds of genres that still are there on TV, and a lot of our students like to go into those fields. Then there is documentary theory, which is basically long form storytelling with the help of visuals and audio. Documentary theory, so that you're able to learn the principles of how to go about it. And if you're interested further, then you can take up documentary production later, in a later semester. Then there is photography. Photography would come handy for any kind of media, whether it's web, or any kind of channel, a YouTube channel, or your own vlog, or even blog. Principles of design and production, extremely important for you to be able to make for your text and your content to appear in a sort of a very appealing manner. Mobile journalism, as I mentioned, very important skill to have these days. Then there is science and health journalism that will equip you to understand what kind of coverage happens in the stream, what the practice has been, and what could be done in a better way. So that's an elective course that you can opt for. Then there is something called the practice portfolio. All students would be expected to produce content for their practice portfolio that will be assessed and graded. This is across the two MA programs, both media practice and media studies. And then there is a mandatory internship program, a 6-week internship program with 4 credits. Please remember, all the courses that you'd be doing would come with credits. Yeah, so you would have to complete a set of credits to be able to get into the next semester. Yeah, so and at the end of your MA program, you should have done a certain number of credits. Then there is outcomes on completing the 2-year program. What can students who opted for media practice think of doing at the end of their program? So they should be able to have a good understanding of structure and functioning of the media industry, history and current trends and dynamics. Demonstrate skills including the ability to produce, package and disseminate good multimedia content. They should be able to work in diverse teams to produce complex media output. And they should be able to combine critical analysis with high-level production skills to build a more ethical, creative, and socially responsible media practice. This is, in fact, extremely important. You see, the skills required to be a media practitioner will keep changing, but your ability to think and strategize and understand what is correct, what is beneficial to society, what will have an enduring value, that is something that we aim to do in our department. Also critically analyze media content and apply this critical thinking to their own media practice. So what the others are doing, you learn from them and you benefit from both their good points and bad. So now I hand over to my colleague, Dr. Raman.
Thank you, Anjali. So I'll talk a little bit about the Media Studies MA. And as I said, we've conceived of these as 2 separate MAs, but as you noted from Anjali's presentation, the first semester is common to both. So both theory and media studies and media practice students will take those courses together. Now, the media studies stream really aims to give students a background in theory and research in media and communication, and provide the theoretical and conceptual foundations that you will use both if you want to become a researcher and if you want to become a practitioner, but perhaps not in journalism, but in an allied field such as corporate communications or development communication, social change communication, and so on. So it's important even for those who are not going to go into journalism, a little bit and media practice, but the focus will largely be on theory and research. So the aim in the media studies program is again to respond to a changing media and communication industry. And as we mentioned right in the beginning, the field of media and communication has really expanded in the past decade. And it's no longer just journalism. I mean, journalism and entertainment are big parts of it, but there are also other fields, and the media studies stream aims to prepare you for those fields. So with the courses that we offer in this stream, students will be able to gain critical perspectives in how the media industry functions, as a practice, and also as the politics in the industry, right? They will also gain the tools and methods to conduct communication and media research. So how do you design surveys? How do you do in-depth interviews? How do you design a study and conduct it, and so on? And this will be focused not only on old media or what we call legacy media, that is newspapers, television, radio, but also on digital and newer media forms. So for instance, if you want to look at something like TikTok or YouTube and try and understand user behavior and so on, we try and give you the kind of skills that will allow you to do that. We also have courses that will allow you to critique media content. So if you want to look at how women are represented, for instance, or what's the kind of violence that exists in online streaming content. So those are the sorts of questions that our students often want to try and explore through our program. And another big aspect of media studies outcomes, or the people who go out of the stream, would be able to join organizations where you would develop communication strategies for social change, for behavior change, and so on, and design campaigns for those sorts of jobs. So again, this slide is a little bit of a repetition. So as you saw earlier, we have a set of common courses that will be offered in the first semester. And from semesters 2, 3, and 4, the media studies students will opt from the other courses that I've listed here. Now, one of the things that's important to note is that students who are in either the practice or the media studies stream must take a certain number of courses to qualify for that particular degree, but there is also room for you to take courses from the other streams. And those details are available on our prospectus and on our website. So for now, what we're showing you is just the list of courses that is within that stream and from which you definitely have to take a certain number. Some of these courses are mandatory and other courses are optionals. So if you look at the list, I'm not going to go over each one of them, but you'll notice that they span both theory as well as application of theory. So we hope that students who come out of the program will not only know how to think, but also do something with their thinking, right? So so we have courses, that are self-explanatory, theory and history of media, communication and social change, the theory of communication and social change, but also the practice of how do you design campaigns, how do you evaluate campaigns, and so on. We have a very popular course called Communication and Culture, which looks at how popular culture and communication intersect. Research is a big part of this course, as I mentioned earlier. And the communication research courses, it's a suite of 2 courses, one in which you understand how to do research, and the second one where you actually do a project of your own and produce a thesis. Digital culture is another important course, and as is issues of globalization, economics and management, media conflicts and disasters. So these are all different aspects of communication which are studied from a theoretical and conceptual angle, but also allow you to actually do something with them. Community media and the public sphere, again, is one of our newer courses that explores this, what we call the third sector in media. We have mass media, we have other kinds of media, and we have community media. So overall, the program in media studies aims to do a good conceptual foundation and the tools that will allow you to apply those concepts in the field. Once you've completed the 2-year media studies program, just as Anjali explained with the media practice program, what we would expect is that you're able to understand the industry and also communication dynamics outside the industry. You will be able to apply academic and apply your tools both in academic and in non-academic settings. So you may join an educational institution as a teacher or a lecturer, but you might also join the industry as a communication researcher. You would be able to strategize and plan campaigns for social change. You'd be able to analyze media critically and write research papers and carry out advanced research if that is what you'd like to do. We also are increasingly focusing on digital media tools for documentation and for digital media tools to analyze and conduct research. So broadly, this is what we would expect a student to gain once they've completed the program in media studies. So a little bit about the faculty and infrastructure. I think over the course of the 3 webinars, if some of you have had the opportunity to sit in on them, you would have been exposed to at least 6 of our faculty members, and there are another 5 faculty members that you haven't met. The faculty is diverse. We come from a variety of backgrounds. We've been trained both nationally and internationally. Most of us have advanced degrees, and many of us come with a background in media. So we are able to bring to the classroom a combination of theory and practice, and I think that's one of our key strengths. In terms of infrastructure, as a public university, we actually are doing pretty well for infrastructure. We have decent studio facilities and editing facilities. We are building an upgraded convergence media lab. Already students work on convergent products, but this is something that we're continuing to develop. And apart from the infrastructure in the department, we are part of a large university. Therefore, you also, as a student of the University of Hyderabad, have access to all the facilities that the university has to offer. Yes, so Anjali, can I ask you to talk a little bit about this?
Yeah, so both students opting for both programs, whether it's media practice or media studies, so they would be, they would have to do core courses. But like Dr. Raman mentioned, there would be a basket of courses from other programs, from other disciplines to also do. It need not be restricted to only communication. Disciplines like sociology, anthropology, history, political science, economics, women's studies, our students are very attracted to some of the courses offered by these disciplines, these departments. Then, as I mentioned earlier, a 6-week internship program is mandatory. This carries 4 credits. And without doing this internship program, you won't be able to get your MA, whether it's the MA practice program or the MA studies program. Internship is mandatory for both. Then, of course, you'd be participating and attending a number of seminars, participating in and attending a number of seminars and conferences, both held by the department and also elsewhere. There will be projects to complete. As I mentioned, there are a number of research projects that go on in the department, and you could actually attend some of the findings get to know some of the findings of those projects. Then, of course, Bol Hyderabad campus radio station, just like Dr. Raman mentioned, that is open to the whole community on the campus, and anybody who would like to broadcast the program is free to do that. Then you also have the opportunity to write for the university newsletter, which is UH Herald. And often students who are interested and have a good writing ability are asked to pitch in for different news items for this newsletter. And then you'd be able to work with industry and NGO sector on real-time projects, both with the help of your internship program and also during vacation and any other project that you'd be taking up. Next slide, please. Yeah, so where do our students go after completing the MA program? And whether it's the MA practice or MA studies, we see our students go into a range of fields. There is, of course, the print media, newspapers, magazines. A lot of our students take up journalism for the print media. Then, of course, there are online portals. We have some of our former students working for The Wire, for example, and other news portals. Then, of course, television and radio channels. A number of students are interested in not just journalistic output, but also entertainment, as Dr. Raman mentioned, and they go into television and radio channels. Social media platforms. So there is, of course, those platforms where for different organizations now, they need a social media presence, and a lot of our students are doing that for different organizations, even political platforms. So communication and media research organizations, a number of our students, especially the ones who would be taking up media studies, are interested in research. And they like to go into these organizations. Then, of course, there is the national and international NGOs, and your preparation with the communication for social change would equip you well for this field, to be able to work with national and international NGOs. Then, of course, multilateral funding agencies, the UN and the other funding agencies. Then ad and PR agencies. I must say that we do not teach advertising and PR in our department, but that hasn't stopped some of our students to go into these fields. As I said, we aim to make our students thinking individuals and socially responsible individuals, and it is up to them to be able to choose any field they want to and apply the skills that they learned with us, even if that happens to be advertising and PR. Then, of course, IT and e-learning companies. A lot of our students these days are going into multinational IT consultancies, and they're doing very well in that area. And then many opt for teaching. They become faculty members in several colleges and several universities. Next slide, Dr.
Yeah. Yeah. So, would you like to continue?
You go ahead, Dr.
Yeah. So, this is basically just an overview of everything we've been talking about. The MA program, whether it is media practice or media studies, is a 2-year postgraduate program, which means that you come to our program with an undergraduate degree in any discipline, and you can apply to both programs as long as you have 55% aggregate. We operate reservation as per the university rules, as per the statutory mandate, constitutional mandate. This year, the last date for application has been extended to May 22nd, which is just 10 days away. So if you're interested, you should go ahead and apply quickly. It's important to note that we have 2 separate entrance exams for the 2 MAs. The exams are on the same day, but they will be held one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So you could conceivably apply to both MA programs. The test is slightly different for each, but broadly it encompasses general knowledge, current affairs, logical reasoning, English language, and analytical skills. So
Okay, so I think we've lost Dr. Raman's connection. So, uh, yeah, I'll just get my, Dr. Raman, you're back. Yeah, so could you continue, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so sorry. I had a bit of a problem with my connection, but the screen has, yeah. So yeah, we're back online. So sorry for that interruption. But as I was saying, the exam is similar for both, and it covers these sections: general knowledge, current affairs, logical reasoning, English language ability, and analytical skills. You can look at our previous entrance exams. They will be posted on a link in the chat window, and you can also find them on the website. The pattern will not vary too much in fact, it doesn't vary at all from the previous exam. Just the distribution of sections may change. What we do is we draw up a merit list on the basis of those who have obtained a certain percentage in the entrance exam, and roughly a 1:4 number, that is in terms of the seats available, we call about 4 times the number of participants for the interview. So it's roughly 100 participants, 100 interviewees per program, because we have about 40 seats overall, plus 10, so 50 seats overall, and we will have about 200 students invited for the interview.
Yeah.
Finally, 25 will be selected. Yeah.
Entrance
Do you
exam,
want to add anything?
yeah, Dr. Raman, the entrance exam also covers media awareness. Even as we do not
Yes.
want our students to specifically, I mean, we don't necessarily want our students to specifically come from communication or journalism backgrounds. I mean, they need not have done BA in journalism or communication. We do look for an aptitude for, in the media. I mean, do they have a genuine interest in media and communication? And for that, we do have media awareness questions in our entrance exam.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, I mean, if you're interested in media, we would expect you to, be aware of what's going on in media, at least to know, what the channels are, who the people are, and so on. Yes, so that's in terms of the exam. And this slide has some links that you can go to for other information. So the application form can be downloaded from the university website. The prospectus is also available on the website. And if you want to go to the department website, we have a separate section that you can access directly. And the link is up on the screen. So, do go and find out more information for yourself. The department website also has additional information to what we've talked about here, and a lot of pictures that you can look at.
Also, in the chat, in the chat, I will just post a few links. For example, you'd be able to see where you can find old question papers. That might help you. Also, I think the prospectus. So, if possible, we post that on Facebook comments also, and in the chat video on Zoom also. We do that right now.
Yeah. So if there are any questions, either here on Zoom or on Facebook, we'd be happy to take them. Oops, sorry. Yeah.
If you have questions, please feel free to ask.
Tanya. Yeah, so
ma'am, I would like to know, like in the entrance test, what is the division of marks under each section?
Yeah, so should I take that, Anjali?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. So broadly, so the entrance exam is for 60 marks. And it's divided about, so 20, 30 for media awareness and general awareness. I think it's 20 for language ability, and 10 is a comprehension passage, which would combine both your language ability as well as logical reasoning. So it's 3 sections, and that's broadly the division. And I think I'm right. Is that pretty much how it is? Yeah. 30, 20, and 10.
For your entrance exam. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
And for the interview, if you're shortlisted for the interview, then as part of the interview also there will be a writing skills test, in which you will be shown a few pictures related to current affairs, and you would have to write very short essays on them. So as part of the interview, there is a 15 mark allotted to written test, and the rest of the marks are allotted to how you present yourself, how you're able to answer our questions in the interview.
Okay, ma'am.
Any more questions? If you're on Facebook, then you can also post your questions on the comments thread. So it seems Anj Tyagi.
So,
yeah, please go ahead, Dr. Raman.
Yeah, no, that's what I was reading. So go ahead. The question is, when is the probable date for entrance exam? My internet connection is unstable, so you should probably answer.
So it depends on, I mean, we'd be announcing that on our website, on the university website also. As of now, that date has not been fixed. Right now, the date for application, the last date for application is May 22nd. So what we can suggest is that you keep a lookout for the announcement of the entrance exam date on our website.
Okay.
Pranati Sridhar from Facebook, can you give an example of the NGO real-time project that past students have worked?
Yeah, so the department actually has a long relationship with organizations like UNICEF and UNESCO. And the UNESCO chair for community media, for instance, is located in our department. Professor Vinod Pavrala holds the chair. So we often have collaborative projects with UNICEF, for example. One project I can give you an example of is we worked with the Telangana Health Department to try to understand how the primary health centers in the Shadnagar area were working. And so some of our students were involved in that project, helping me, with data collection and so on.
So to go back to what Ansh Tyagi had asked about the probable date for entrance exam, the university website as of now mentions that it could be in the first week of June, but we don't know. I mean, these are very unpredictable times. We don't know till when the lockdown would continue. As of now, tentatively, it's the first week of June. It could be postponed. So the best advice is that you keep a lookout for the dates, for important dates on the website, on the university website.
So there's Avantika Reddy. Do you have any questions?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, I'm BA first year. I'm studying at first year degree. Can I apply? Some confusion I have. That's why.
So you have to have a BA degree. You should have completed your bachelor's program to be able to apply for the MA program.
I know masters, na ma'am. It's
so masters can only.
Yeah, so you have to finish. Yeah.
Please go on, Doctor.
I'm studying BA journalism. Bachelor's in journalism. I'm studying.
Masters in journalism.
Bachelor's.
Okay, so then you have to finish your third year. After you give your third year exam, then you can apply.
Thanks. Okay.
Just to go back to that question posted by Pranati Sridhar about examples of NGO real-time projects. Bold Hyderabad, our campus community radio station, also hosts some programs that are about some of the work done by our partner NGOs and the projects that go on there. So Bold Hyderabad always has that kind of coalition alliance with some of the NGO groups that we have been associated with. Another NGO that comes to mind, Dr. Raman, I think is DDS, right? A lot of our students have worked at DDS as part of their project while they were doing the MA program, and also a few have also joined them after completing their MA program.
Yeah.
So are there more questions? Any more on Facebook?
Ma'am, I have one more question.
Is that Tanya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please go ahead.
Ma'am, is the when we complete the media studies degree, can we also get recruited in corporate organizations to develop strategies for it, or are we just restricted to getting recruited in NGOs or something like that?
Dr. Raman, please take that question.
Yeah, no, not at all. In fact, quite a few of our students end up going into the corporate sector. Some of them join, training, corporate communications, etc., and ultimately work their way up to, more strategic positions. So we have alumni, for instance, who are working, who have worked with Yahoo, for instance, in brand building. Or with Cognizant in branding and strategy. So there actually is no limit to where you can go. It depends on how you use the degree, really.
Okay, thank you so much.
Do we have more questions? So, Dr. Raman, if you could talk a little bit about, what kind of students come to our program, and if we have anything specific that we are looking for, if you could, so that when they come, when they are applying, it should be a thought out process.
Right.
I feel that they should question themselves as to are they really genuinely interested in an MA program in communication. So, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so very often, I mean, we get a really wide mix of students, some of whom come with a journalism or a mass communication background, but many others come from, let's say, architecture, BTech, all kinds of BCom, all kinds of degrees. And we really welcome that. I mean, it's good to have a really diverse bunch of students. But what happens is that in the first semester, very often all they're doing is trying to figure out what this new field is all about. And, we do help them do that. But I think it would be good for students just to try and understand what this whole field of media and communication is. Familiarize themselves, there are materials on our website, but also by looking at the broader social context, what is it that journalists do? What is it that people in communication and media studies do? And there's a lot of information out there these days on the internet. So I think you should think about whether it's not just about being a pretty face in front of the camera, for instance, right? So a lot of people end up coming into journalism thinking that it is a front, but it's not a front. It's actually a lot of work at the back. And it's a tough degree. It's not an easy ride. The 2 years can be a lot of fun, but they're also extremely demanding. So, one sort of warning I would give is a lot of people think that, you can hold a job down and also come and do this MA program. But that's really not possible. And our students often are working late nights in the lab, in the studio. They're spending a lot of hours making programs, doing their research. So you really should want to do it. And we would welcome students who really want to do media and communication work, whether as journalists or in any other role that you might want.
Another question that is coming to us is whether there is a separate course for print journalism and TV journalism. Not anymore. The new program, which offers 2 MA programs, will have that as part of MA practice. So whoever is interested in journalism and would like to become a journalist later in life after the MA program, they would probably be opting for MA practice, where they'd get to learn how to do journalism in a multimedia environment. Dr. Raman, could you talk about the PhD program a bit?
Sure. So, we've grown actually into a fairly important center for postgraduate work and also for PhD work. This year, we will be taking in 5 students. And the PhD program is like, any other UGC governed PhD program. We have an entrance test followed by an interview. If you have a JRF, you have a slight advantage, but we require students who entered to have cleared the net. And even if you have cleared the net, you still have, and if you have a JRF too, you still have to write the entrance exam and get through the interview. We have a year of coursework, following which you defend a proposal and do your research. This year, if you look in the prospectus, you'll find that 4 of the faculty are taking on PhD students. So 4 faculty are taking 1, 3 are taking 1 each, and 1 faculty member is taking 2. So you would have to see if your research interests match the 4 faculty who are taking on students. But it's a good program, and we're actually very proud of our PhD program. Yeah, I see another question, which maybe you should take, Anjali, about employment opportunities.
Yeah, so like we mentioned earlier, our students go to a variety of organizations. If they're interested in going to news outlets, they go to news outlets, whether that's TV channels, whether that's news websites or print. Quite a few of our students want to be journalists, and they join journalistic organizations, news organizations. But a lot of them also go to NGOs, and they prepare communication materials for NGOs and draw policy programs, communication policy programs for international and national NGOs, multilateral agencies. Quite a few go into the corporate sector, which means that, for example, in Hyderabad, a number of our former students are working with Deloitte or Oracle. They're doing communication work, instructional design work at these multinational agency bodies. And in fact, there is no restriction as to where you could work, as long as you are interested in working in the field of communication, in the field of media. Most organizations these days have their social media platforms. They want a very robust, very active presence, so that they are able to put across a very strong public face. And it completely depends on the student's interest, where they'd like to go. The placement opportunities, like we mentioned, 95% of our students in the past have been placed. They go to a number of organizations, ranging from news outlets to corporate sector.
And also, it's worth mentioning that quite a few end up being entrepreneurs as well. We have quite a few students who set up their own, social media companies or documentary firms and so on, and they're doing quite well. Okay.
I think, do we have any more questions?
So you can also post questions on our Facebook site if you, if they occur to you later, and we'll try and answer them. And in the meantime, download the form, apply, watch out for announcements, and good luck.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. Do read a lot. Read the wide variety of, that media landscape has to offer, so that you are prepared if you're really interested.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.